Father, we're grateful for the privilege that we do have to come into your house again. Thank you for your servants, Lord. Praising you online, on YouTube, Periscope, Zoom, and all of the ways that you have enabled us to worship you. We thank you for it. You are our God, the lifter of our head, the one that's altogether lovely. And we pray that you would let your words come into our hearts and let us receive that you have in store for us. And we'll praise you for it in Jesus' name. Amen. Praise the Lord. Please be seated. I'm so thankful for you that braved the, what shall we say, the elements or whatever. You're here. And some people say, well, I'm not ready to come out yet. They're upset because the governor hadn't given us a license to come out. Then when she says we can come out, and I was saying to myself, what difference is it going to make between like the day that she said we couldn't come out and the day she said we could? Is that going to make the germs go down? I don't think so. I think we still have to do what we know to do. And somebody was saying, and trust the Lord. Well, as I told somebody, I'm trying to be obedient. I keep my little deal either on my arm or on my ear. Oh my God! But I just thank the Lord for it. I guess that was praying for it. He is our keeper. And if God doesn't keep us, we won't be kept anyhow. So we just thank God for His goodness and for all the brave soldiers that are here. So if we start counting by tens, we got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. We got 150 folks. And all of you, I appreciate you that are on Zoom. I can see you there. I see you. Amen. God bless you. We're happy for you. Continue to pray for those that are, well, Elder Eubanks went to her daughter and granddaughter's graduations, virtual graduations, whatever. But they wanted her there, so she took off and went somewhere. So we just keep our prayers with her and thank God for the fact that she couldn't go. Because a few weeks ago we couldn't even go. Amen. But we're going to the word of the Lord. And I was asking the Lord, I said, Lord, there's a lot of things can come to your mind in the course of a week or a month. I said, Lord, I need a word from you. I know that I get a word from him, and what I give you is what he has said, but sometimes I need a special word. It seems like, in these times. And I heard, just in my spirit, he knows how. He knows. And that's the word. Yeah. He knows how. He knows how. He knows how. And I was so glad to see Marilyn here. I told Dr. Nelson, well, maybe I got to read her again. I don't know, because I haven't had to read her for 2 or 3 months. Whatever it's been. But I didn't give her any scriptures, but I'm just so thankful that, as I said, all of you that are present today. But he knows how, and we're going to give you the Elder White read the background scripture, so we won't read all of that to you, but it's 2 Peter. For you who didn't hear it, amen, 2 Peter, and the 2nd chapter. I want to read just one little portion of that again. There we go. For God, beginning with the 4th verse, for God did not spare the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be kept for judgment. As he did not spare the ancient world, but saved Noah, a preacher of righteousness, with 7 others, when he brought a flood upon the world of the ungodly. And if he condemned the cities reducing them to ashes, making them an example to those afterward who would live ungodly lives. And if he delivered righteous Lot, who was distressed by the filthy conduct of the wicked, for that righteous man lived among them, and what he saw and heard of their lawless deeds tormented his righteous soul day after day. Don't you get tormented by all the filth that you hear day after day? And then this ninth verse is the verse I'm honing in on. He says, then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly from trial, and to keep the unrighteous under punishment for the day of judgment. And as I said, my thought is, he knows how. He knows how. He knows. Now, this scripture gives you a background of the fact that people were living then unrighteous lives. And of course, people have been doing that ever since the world began, after Adam and Eve. But he said, here's what the point is. He says, if God condemned all of these cities, he condemned the cities. He said, and if he caused Gomorrah to go up in ashes, if he did all of this, and if he delivered righteous Lot, who was distressed, if he did that, my God, then the Lord knows how to rescue the godly. Yes. Now, the whole world was in torment and unrighteousness and ungodliness. And yet, Lot, the scripture says, was spared because he was righteous. Now, there was no Bible back then for Lot to read. But there was something in his heart that made him disgusted with what was going on in the world in his day. And he was trying to do the thing that was pleasing in the sight of God. So the scripture says, if God just slew everybody that wasn't living right, and you all know how he did that with a flood. Amen. But if he knows how to destroy the unrighteous, he knows how to spare the righteous. So I don't think that you can compare yourself necessarily with Lot, as you've done this and you're so righteous because you never did this or you never. That's not the point. But God made a way for us to be righteous when he went to the cross and died for our sins and rose for our justification. And all he said was, if you believe on me, as the scriptures have said, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. All you have to do is believe on him. Isn't that awesome? And if you believe on him, he knows how to deliver the godly. So you're not righteous because you got baptized. You're not righteous because one day you spoke in boom, 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 boom. That's not why you're righteous. You're righteous because God gave you his righteousness and you said, yes, Lord, I was going. Just get a hold of that. I don't need a banner. Thank you for listening. But I don't need a banner Just remember, it was in the young people hearing me today, and you just happen to have a little baby in your womb. Now, I don't know how that happens. I really don't know how you got that baby in there. But if perhaps it kind of slipped in there, it matters too. I know you don't have to send me no emails. I know you don't like that. But what am I going to do? I don't know. I'll tell you something though. I kind of think what you need to do is stay in your own bed. Next time. This is the next time. I think that's what you need to do. Lord, have grace. But you know, we want to know what can we do. I'm told that some years ago in the city of Los Angeles, the city fathers wanted to know what to do to get rid of the smog and the pollution that was in the air. And of course, if any of you have been to LA recently, and I was in LA when I was a young kid, and I thought it was one of the most beautiful places in the world, and was. Yes. But then I went back a few years later, and I thought I couldn't see it. For the smog, you know what I'm saying? But they said we're going to hire some consultants to see what we can do to get rid of this smog and this pollution. So the city fathers paid big bucks for these consultants to find out what to do to get rid of the pollution. So they worked, and they worked, and they worked. They had roundtable discussions, and the director of the project finally came to the point where they said, we have something we can tell the city fathers to do. And so they came with an apology. They said, we've been working for several months on the project you gave us. And we have a solution, but we can't get it out. We can't do it. They said, well, what is that? They said, I'm sorry we've had to pay out all this money, but we do need to hear what your solution was. And he said, well, what we need is, we find that the only solution is for a great wind to come and sweep over the city. And we can't do that. Said, but if it blew it out, if the wind came and blew it out, the lifestyle that we've decided is necessary for our community, our well-being, the smog will return again. So there's no solution for the pollution. No solution. But my point is, God knows how. Yes. God knows how. Toxic clouds are hanging over our cities, but there is a solution for the pollution. People are running rampant, not knowing which way to go, scared as rabbits. But there is a solution for the pollution. Yes. Pollution. And what we need is a wind, as the fathers, counselors told them. We need a wind, but the wind has to be from elsewhere. can't be just a regular wind that's blowing from east to west or west, north to south. It's got to be a wind from elsewhere. I want to give you another scripture or two here. Lord have mercy. Can I have another hour? Yes. Praise God. Numbers 11 and 18. We're going to read it right quick. And 18. And it says, the 70 elders came, the elders of Israel, and they came down and said, I'm going to speak to the Lord, said to Moses, gather these 70 elders, I'm going to speak to them. And I'm going to put my spirit in them, and you'll put it on them, and they're going to bear the burden of the people with you. But you're not going to bear it by yourself. And say to the people, consecrate yourselves for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat. For you have wept in the hearing of the Lord, saying, who's going to give us meat? Therefore the Lord's going to give you meat, and you're going to eat. And not you're going to eat just 1 day or 2 days or 5 days or 10 or 20, but a whole month till it comes out of your nose. And it will be nauseating to you because you rejected the Lord who is among you and have wept before him, saying, why did we come out of Egypt? Moses said to the people, I am with number 600,000 foot soldiers. And you have said, I will give them meat to eat a whole month. The flocks and the herds be slaughtered for them to satisfy them, or will all the fish of the sea be gathered together? And the Lord said to Moses, is the hand of the Lord shortened? Now you will see if my word will happen to you or not. Yes. And then we're going to turn to Exodus 16. And I'm going to show you Exodus 16 and 2. Where excuse me, yeah, that's 16 and 2. Moses led the children of Israel from the Red Sea. They went out to the wilderness and went out 3 days till back in the water. They came to Mar, couldn't drink of the waters, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of the place was called Mar. So the people murmured over the tree. And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree. When he had thrown it into the waters were made sweet. And he made for them a statute and ordinance and tested them there. He said, if you will diligently listen to the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his sight, and give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will not afflict you with any of the diseases with which I have afflicted the Egyptians. For I am the Lord who heals you. Then they came to Elim. There were 12 wells of water, 70 palm trees that camped there by there. And then they set out. Now, what I want you to see is we're talking about God knows how. Now they wanted water, and they also wanted meat. Is that right? Okay. So the 13th verse of that 16th chapter, in the evening the quail came up and covered the camp. And in the morning, the dew was surrounding the camp. When the layer of the dew evaporated on the surface of the wilderness, there lay a small find this as frost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said, they didn't know what it was. They said, what is this? Moses said to them, this is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Every man is together. And he told them how much together, and so forth. But here's what I want you to see. Two things. If you need food, he knows how.
Yes. Yes.
And he swept the quails in on the wind.
Yeah, he did.
He swept it in. Yes. And he rained down the manna from on high. Yes. I said, God knows how. Yes. So, what is it that you want? He said, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you'll find it. Knock and the door will be open. For he that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth. Yes. And to him that knocketh, it shall be opened unto him. So what do you want? He knows how to give it to you. I don't believe it's wrong to carry a sign and march. Back in the 60s, when I was less than where I am now, I marched, but we marched in prayer.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
We weren't throwing no bricks at nobody. We were marching in prayer.
Right.
And some of us know when we started this work here, we marched around here, around by the police precinct and Burnside, and we walked our little feet off. But we were marching praying. Right. Amen? Amen. Because we just happen to know something that some folks don't know. Right. And what they don't know is prayer changes things. Yes. Because God knows how to send the wind from elsewhere. And the wind will blow out all of the envy, the malice, and the strife. It will blow off everything that's not like him, and it will send us bread and meat. Everybody likes bread and meat, right? Well, most folks do. You can have meat and take bread. Bread. So what is it that you need? Then we have one more scripture I'm going to give you, and then I'm going to try to wrap it up here. Kings. Do I want King? No, what I want is Isaiah. That's what I want. Okay. Isaiah 37. Mm-hmm. 37 and 36. Now this was the prayer of Hezekiah. The scripture told us to pray. What is that right? Somebody said, pray. What's prayer going to do? I heard one of the governors say, well, prayer is not for this age. Oh yeah, not in our state, in the state bank. Well, we won't even name the state, but if you read heard it, you heard it. You know, it was blasted right on the TV. That prayer is not going to do nothing. Look at it. Now, this, somebody knows where, you know, I pray these kind of prayers, and somebody doesn't know, but let me just read this. This is Isaiah 37. And starting with verse 20, 28, I can't see. But I know your abode, you're coming out, and you're coming in, and your rage against me. Because your rage against me and my tumult have come up into my ears. Therefore, I will put my hook in your nose, and my bridle in your lips, and I will turn you back by the way by which you came. And this shall be a sign to you. You shall eat this year what grows up inside the second, which springs from the third. You will sow and reap, plant vineyards eat their fruit, and so forth and so on. And then, skipping on down to verse 35, for I will defend this city to save it for my own sake and for the sake of my servant David. Now God spared Lot out of the city, but he spared David in the city. In other words, God knows how to do what he wants done. That's why we can just depend on him. Oh my God. And so David needed somebody to defend the city. Not only did David, this was a prayer for Hezekiah at this particular time. And he had heard in a letter from the messengers he said, Lord, who dwells among the cherubims, you are the God. Even you alone have made the heavens and the earth. You here, open your eyes, which he has sent to reproach. Well, talking about Sennacherib, he has sent to reproach the living God. When I was talking about the mayor that said, what's prayer going to do? Our prayer is, Lord, open his eyes. Open his eyes that he can see. Because God knows how to deliver. Now these children were up against an army. I mean an army. We're not talking about 200 or 300 people marching. But we're talking about an army. But somebody said a praying child on his knees is greater than an army on their feet. On your knees is more important than being on your feet with a bayonet in your hand. Amen? So he said, what he did said, I will defend this city to save it for my own sake. In other words, if I say the city is to be saved, it's to be saved. If I say it, that's it. He said, then the angel, this is verse 36, the angel of the Lord went out and struck 185,000 in the camp of the Assyrians. When others woke up early in the morning, these were all dead bodies. Now, this is not a fairy tale. This is in your Bible. Amen. Does yours read the same thing? What does yours read? Does yours say the same thing I say? It just said one person and a half was killed. Really? And that's what your Bible said too? Anybody's Bible say anything different?
When they arose early that morning.
When they got up that morning, all those folks were gone. So if God can do those things, he fed the hungry, he gave water to the thirsty, and he gave victory to those that were in trouble. So my point, I hope you understand, is the God's point. He says, I know how to deliver the godly out of temptation and to reserve the unjust until the day of reckoning will be punished. So you have to punish folks. You have to rob and steal and do all this crazy stuff because he knows how. Oh my God. If you need protection, he'll send an angel. I got an angel that goes with me everywhere. That protects me. He goes with me. I've seen it. I really have. So you saw it? Yeah, I saw it. Right here. I don't know if he's right there somewhere. I kid you not. I've had some experiences that know that God is real. He is so real. He is so real. I was thinking of sometimes we have problems with the healing because God doesn't heal us immediately. But God knows how to do it whenever he wants it done. There's a song that says, heavy load, Mhm. He didn't promise that the cross would not be heavy to try, or that the hills would not be hard to climb. But he never offered victory without fighting. But he said, hold on, because he'll be there just in time. Oh my God. How can we say thank you for what he has done for us? How can we say thank you? We need to give glory to God, because God has opened doors for us, made ways for us. I have more here, some more scriptures, but listen, God knows what to do in your behalf.
Yes.
We may not know what to do. And you know, we can say, as the scripture says, we have no might against this great company, and neither do we know what to do. But our eyes are on thee.
Yes.
Our eyes have to be on God. You know, there was the son and father, this was Father's Day, I was going to mention how that, and they sung us several songs talking about our Father. But there was a son that came up, he and his father were out for a stroll, and the son came up on a big rock. And the father said, well, the son said to the father, you think I can move that rock? And the father said, yeah, you can move it if you use all your strength. And so he kicked the stone and it didn't move. And so he, not only did he kick it, he shoved it with his body, the stone didn't move. And he got down and pushed, the stone didn't move. And he said, I thought you said I could move it, Daddy. He said, you can, you got to use all of your strength. And he said, okay. So he got back. Tried to move the stone didn't move. He said, what? Daddy, I thought you said I could move the stone. He said, you haven't used all your strength. He said, yes, I did. He said, you didn't ask me.
All right. Yes.
Hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Hallelujah.
All of our strength. Fathers, you have some strength. You have some strength. I'll never forget my father telling me one time I wasn't feeling well, and I don't remember if I was real sick or what it was. But he said, Caddy, don't ever worry, because I can get a prayer through, and I'm going to keep living so that I can always get a prayer through. So don't worry about being sick. So I rested on that. You know, I thought, well, Daddy can get a prayer through. So I remember being sick one time.
Yes. Thank you.
And I was married at that time. And my father and mother came to see about their child.
Yes.
Some of you heard this story.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And they got out on their knees. And instead of praying for me, my mother starts crying. And shaking the bed. And I'll never forget, I don't know why this was on my, but this is the way it was. I thought, Lord, if she would quit shaking this bed, I would breathe. And my daddy standing up crying. I never saw my daddy cry. And he goes to my husband, son, let me take her home. What? Let me take her home. You know, my husband, we laughed. And they wanted to, and see, they thought I was really going to die. Well, I did too. But I wasn't to go home to die. So the mama quit shaking the baby, and I could live a little longer. But I'll never forget those days. I'll never forget those days. But you know what? During the course of that time, they finally went on back to their hometown. Oh my God. And my husband got out on his knees.
Yeah.
But he wasn't crying.
Mhm.
He used to cry when he prayed, kind of like me, but still it was a prayer to God.
Yeah.
He and the evangelist got on their knees. I'll never forget it. And they prayed the prayer of faith.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mhm.
And when they finished that prayer, Grace, who had not been up for months,
Mhm.
got up and started dancing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't dance, but I could. I tell you, I was healed
Mhm.
from that moment.
Yeah.
That moment.
Yeah.
God knows how.
Yes.
Crying doesn't get it. Hollering doesn't get it. Worrying doesn't get it. You can worry yourself to death. And I think some of the people that have gone were worried. So, and you know, it's kind of sad in this time of the pandemic. People that are elderly are shut up and restricted, and we're all supposed to be secluded. And I think that has contributed to some people's death. I believe they could have lived a little longer if they had a little hope. But when everybody's gone and you don't know who's praying for you, you don't have much hope. Oh, Jesus. But if you need whatever it is, what you need is a wind from elsewhere
Yes. Yes.
to blow out the pollution. The solution, as I say, for the pollution is a wind. Is a bush. And I remember somewhere in the Bible,
Yeah.
God told his children,
Yes. Yes.
I want you to go up and stay there in the upper room
Yes.
until the Holy Ghost
Yes.
comes upon you.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Stay there. I'm going to send the Holy Ghost. And when you send the Holy Ghost, the scripture said when he said it, he said there was a wind came in,
Yes.
like a rushing mighty wind. And it filled all the house where they were sitting. Cloven tongues came upon them. And they began to speak. Yes. Somebody asked us what denomination we are. I said, no. Now I know you can say whatever you want to say you are. But when I say non, I'm a Christian.
Yes.
I follow Christ.
Yes.
But we do speak in tongues.
Yes.
But we just don't believe that's the way to heaven. We just believe that's one of the attributes of being one of your children.
Yes.
Yes.
Say, oh, she has lost her faith. Oh no, I got more than I ever had. I do believe. Thank you, Jesus. But you see, sometimes we make a ruling out of what God has given to us as a blessing. It's not a rule, it's a blessing. It's something you get to do.
Yes. Yes.
It's not something you have to do, it's something you get to do. Because when the Holy Spirit descended on them, he says, like a fire. Sometimes we want to know, well, why are you so rambunctious? Rambunctious. Is that the word? Rambunctious. It's because Jesus did something for me that nobody else could do. He brought me out of darkness into a marvelous light. Set my feet on a solid rock and established my goings. Put a new song in my soul and a praise unto my God. And told me, lo, I'm with you always, even to the end of the age. I will never leave you. I'll never forsake you. But I'm going to be with you.
Yes.
Mother can forsake you. Daddy can cry. Hallelujah. But God said, I'm here. I'm here. And let the winds blow and howl. But when God sends the right wind, you're strengthened. You're strengthened. You know, there are trees that when the wind blows, it will uproot them. But with a palm tree, it blows with the wind. And sometimes we have to blow with the wind.
Yeah.
We have to bend. But you know where we bend? Down on my knees. When troubles rise, I talk to Jesus beyond the sky. And he promised me he'd hear my plea. If I would tell him, down on my knees. Hallelujah. Glory to God. I don't know whether you have learned the song or not. Hallelujah. But we're going to, only gave you something here you're supposed to read against. Praise God. Oh, some reminders. Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. till 7. We have prayer. We're still praying. And Emily Roy leads our prayers every morning. He may not start the prayer, but he always is there. And he hasn't been coming, but he's on his job for prayer. I don't know whether you see him there. Praise the Lord. Then ways to give through Zelle, through your banking app, or the Grace Covenant Finance number is 971-354-7750. That's the finance number. Cash app, $GC 54 pray. So, and you can also hang out with Miss Janice on Wednesdays from 6:30 p.m. until 7 p.m. But our Bible study is Wednesday at 12 noon, and we're right here, and we have a panel. And all of the 7 elders are participating in the panel every Wednesday at 12 noon to 1. We've been having a good time. The youth group, the host is Pastor Crystal, starting time at 6, and I don't know what day it is. So if she has some more announcements,
It's Thursday.
she can make them. It's Thursday, all right, at 6.
From 6 until, because they go over a lot.
All right, but we're still working for the kingdom.
Yes.
We haven't stopped because of what's happening in our community, but we're working hard. And so those of you that have joined us, God bless you. Thank you for joining, and continue to keep God first in your life. And we're going to say did you have another song? Praise the Lord. Okay. We're going to stand and be blessed by saying our confession. I am blessed and highly favored. It should be in your seat bags. We don't have our internet on there. I'm blessed and highly favored of the Lord. According to Deuteronomy 30:19, I confess I choose life by loving the Lord my God and obeying him. According to Hebrews 13:5, I confess the Lord is with me. He will not forsake me. According to Isaiah 54:17, I confess no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Every tongue that shall rise against me in judgment will be silenced. I confess these are the benefits enjoyed by the servants of the Lord, and I am one of them. Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the anointing of your Spirit and for your word, which is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. And I pray that you would take us to our home in peace, and let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our Creator and our Redeemer. And we want to tell everybody that we are open again for business. Everybody is welcome to come back. We're asking people to wear their masks if you want to, but we're not hard-nosed about it. But do your distancing, and you'll be all right. Thank God. God bless you. Have a blessed day.